one of those videos that I am making solely for my own personal accountability. So welcome to a new series on my channel, Brianna's Bookshelf. As you probably know by now, one of my goals for 2022 is to become a reader. That's the exact verbiage I used. I wanted to use the word become to associate it with my identity. Studies have shown that when you're trying to create new habits, associating them with your identity instead of as an action really actually helps you fortify that new habit. For example, you don't say, I quit smoking, you say, I'm not a smoker, something like that. Therefore, one of my goals for 2022 is to become a reader. So every month for 2022, I am going to sit down and I'm going to film a Brianna's Bookshelf video for you. What is this video going to be about? It is going to be a little rundown of all of the books I have read in the previous month. So this is January's edition of Brianna's Bookshelf. So I will be going through the books that I completed in the month of January. I believe I set a goal of reading 30 books in total this year. So breaking things down, that comes out to like 3 books, not even 3 books, 2.5 books a month. And I went above and beyond this month. I actually have 4 hard copy books that I have finished and then 1 audiobook that I finished. So here's the list of books that I completed this month and a little bit of a review of each one of them. The first one I finished actually is relevant to 2 goals, my reading goal and my button training my dog goal. The first book I finished was How Stella Learned to Talk by Christina Hunger. This is about the OG puppy dog that started to use buttons to communicate with her humans. And Christina Hunger is the speech therapist that came up with the idea. She teaches kids how to use these devices that, you know, the iPads that help them speak and everything. And so when she got this dog, she's like, I wonder if my dog can do the same thing, and thus the button training the puppy dogs was born. Full transparency, I've been working with Gracie on just 2 words, play and potty. Oh, she's not in here. I thought she was in here. We've been working on just 2 words and it's been like 6 weeks and I'm not entirely sure she gets it yet, which is incredibly frustrating. She understands that the buttons mean something and that things happen when she hits the buttons, but she doesn't understand that I do not need to be towering over her, giving her a command to show me what you want when you hit the buttons. And so she's not understanding that it's a communicative device as opposed to a command giving device, and I'm not quite sure what to do about that. One of the things I'm going to do is go through this book and read the end of each chapter where they have tips for how to train your dog at the end of each chapter, and I want to go and refresh my memory on that. This book in and of itself, whether you're going to button train your dog or not, was a great read. It was really heartwarming and sweet, and I learned a lot, not just about how to train my dog, but a little bit about how I'm not going to remember, the assistive language devices, ALS, ALD, AL something. I can't remember what they're called, but the devices, she talks about how they work. She tells their personal story, and it was just a great lighthearted read, even though I was using it for educational purposes. So it's a fun book to read if you like dogs. If you don't like dogs, you're not going to get a whole lot out of it. But if you like dogs, this is a fun read. And if you're looking to button train your dog, this is definitely a great step 1. Book number 2 is this one, and this is actually a reread from 2021. This is This Year I Will by M.J. Ryan, who is the author of The Happiness Makeover. And we read this in the Diva and the Divine book club last year for January as a way to kind of just get the year started off on the right foot. It talks a lot about habit formation and the right ways to go about doing it in little simple, like 3 and 4 page chapters. And I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much that I decided that I was going to reread it again in January of this year, just to kind of give me a refresher. And it was nice to see what I highlighted last year, what I didn't highlight. Well, here's a highlight for you, and I quote, I will care for my body so that I can continue to feel the pleasure of being fit and fully alive as I grow older. That was something she could really care about and work towards. Like, how is that for setting, I want to lose weight, I want to get fit? No, I will care for my body so that I can continue to feel the pleasure of being fit and fully alive as I grow older. Just saying that makes me go, ooh, I'm feeling inspired. And so there's a whole bunch of little things in here. She is, I don't know what kind of therapist or coach. She's a coach of some kind, of happiness coach, a habit coach. I don't know what she is, but she's got some great information in here. She's got some great stories. She talks about her own personal journey working through some anger habits, as well as her clients' journeys through other habits. And this applies to pretty much any habit you can think of. Quit smoking, lose weight, get fit, get more productive. All of those things can be accomplished and addressed with the tips that are in this book. It's a great little read. It's only 219 pages and it's nice and tiny. It's a great thing to just pick up and read for 10 minutes a day, just to kind of get your head in the right space. I don't know. I really enjoyed it the second time around too. The next book I read, I actually read on Kindle, and it is How to Heal Your Metabolism by Kate Deering. And I'm a big fan of gathering a bunch of different information, especially with what I know about nutrition now and the kind of stuff that I'm preaching in my coaching and doing in my own fitness journey. I like to gather more information, nothing that's of the extreme nature, no dramatic intermittent fasting, no keto, no complete elimination of specific things, but an overall kind of well-rounded type of approach to nutrition, as you guys probably know by now. So I picked up this book because I heard about it and was like, you know, let me just give it a read. And a couple of very interesting takeaways that I had from this book. There was some stuff that made me go, I don't know. I've also experienced this. I've also experienced this. But a couple of the things that she talks about specifically in like her metabolism healing way of eating is protein is still super, super important, but not quite as important as most of us, myself included, are led to believe. But that is a piece of information I'm like, actually, I thrive when I eat enough protein, so maybe that part's not for me. But things that are for me are, she is a big believer in dairy. Big, huge believer in dairy. She actually thinks that milk is the perfect food because it is fat, it is carbs, and it is protein. It is the perfect food in her opinion, and dairy can help with a whole bunch of different things. She also believes in less muscle meat for protein and more things like gelatin and collagen and bone broth and eggs and things like that. It's really, all in all, a very interesting nutritional philosophy, and I've learned a lot of information, and as with most books, I'm going to take and use what I feel works for me, and I'm going to leave behind what I feel doesn't. But it was a really educational and eye-opening read nonetheless. I did manage to squeak through one fiction book this month. I'm kind of bummed it was only one, but I got through one, and this is Fitness Junkie by Lucy Sykes and Joe Piazza, and they're the authors of the book The Knockoff, which I don't know if I still own it. I might have gotten rid of it or given it to my sister or something, but I read The Knockoff. It was sent to me, I can't remember why, but I read it and I loved it. So I got this because it was by the same authors, and this is a cute, little, fun, interesting, slightly like a little bit of mystery, but like in a NYC lifestyle kind of way, book about the fitness industry, health, things like that, and life in New York City. And I just thought it was a fun read. Once I got started, it took me a while to get started because I'm like, oh, I should read the educational book, read the nonfiction book. That's the stuff that I gravitate towards, right? So once I finally like gave this a chance and was like, okay, my 30 minutes of reading today is gonna be on fiction, I ended up spending like 90 minutes reading it. Like I actually really, really enjoyed this book. And it was a fun, lighthearted read. So Fitness Junkie, a lot of fun. And then my audiobook that I listened to, because I think I saw Lakin over at Plan with Lakin had read it and gave it some pretty high praise, so I decided to read it too. It's We Should All Be Millionaires, A Woman's Guide to Earning More, Building Wealth, and Gaining Economic Power by Rachel Rogers. And it was a super inspiring listen. It was super inspiring. I felt jazzed every time I turned it on. And this is a book that I had been working my way through for a while. I probably have had it queued up in my Scribed app for like 3 months, and I've been slowly meandering my way through it. And in January, I finally was like, you know what? Let's buckle down and finish this sucker. And I did, and I really liked it. It made me really want to think about some things. It made me want to challenge some things. It inspired me to continue on one of my goals for the year. Another one of my goals is to have the highest income year for Diva and the Divine. And this book plays right into that with some of the tips, the tricks, the mindset stuff, the lifestyle stuff. It was really inspiring, and I got really jazzed and excited about it. I'll be completely honest. There is, so I use the app Scribe, which is kind of like a Netflix for books type of thing. I'll have a referral link down below that I think, it used to at least, I think it still gets you 2 months for free, and it gets me a month for free if you use it. So thank you in advance if you do, but there's a lot of audiobooks on there that you can just listen to. The more you can power through, the more you can get through in a month. Like, it's really great. And I have found that even if they don't have the written copy of a lot of newer books, they have the audiobook version. So I've been using Scribed almost exclusively for audiobooks, and I've been loving it. This is not sponsored, by the way. This just happens to be where I found the book. It's one of those things where if I'm going to purchase a book, if I'm interested in reading a book, I will always consult Scribed first to see if I already have access to it. So this book happened to be on audio, and I love listening to authors narrate their own books. I love it. I don't know why, but I just do. And she narrates her own book, and it was wonderful. I had a great time listening to it, felt super inspired. So if you are a businesswoman or a woman looking to earn a little bit more, level up the vibe in your life, and want to be a millionaire someday, maybe this book's for you. All right, so that is my bookshelf for the month of January. That's 5 books down and 25 to go. I'm hoping to get through at least 3 books in the month of February, so stay tuned for that. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and in the comments below, give me your book recommendations. Fiction books, nonfiction books, I want your book recommendations. What do I like? Well, Harry Potter is my favorite book of all time. So if you can find me a series that is akin to Harry Potter, that would be great. I also love romance novels. I love, and of course I love like your self-help books, productivity and nutrition and wellness and all of those things. I love those too. So if you think you have something I might enjoy, leave the title in the comments below, because then I can expand my to be read list, and maybe you'll see your book suggestion pop up later in the year. If you haven't already joined the Diva and the Divine community, we would love to have you. Just click that little red subscribe button there, and you will be notified every time I upload something new. Thanks for taking the time to watch. Take care. I'll see you again real soon. Bye.